I'm sure that you hear a lot like, well, just be professional, like just dress professional. And like you weren't being professional enough or whatever the situation that you were in. It's just like, what is being a professional, right? Like, does it have any key traits, or like, what does that mean being a substitute teacher? So that's what this video is going to be about today. And all in all, being professional is just being mature, just being that adult. Professionalism really does matter. And it doesn't matter if you're CEO of a company, or if you are a substitute teacher, or you are working at McDonald's. Professionalism just makes sure that you are being like of character. And I don't mean character as like a story character. I mean like of good character of a human, and handling situations appropriately, and overall just being mature about something and just doing your job well. There are some key traits of being a professional. So the first one is being punctual. Make sure you are arriving on time to your job, and making sure that you can have time to look over your lesson plan. Or if you're brand new to the building, it's like, where do I go, right? You can ask the questions that you need to in the office to other teachers. Ask where the student do not ask where the student bathroom is. Ask where the employee bathroom is, so when you have time to go, you can go. When you're looking over the lesson plans, you can ask the surrounding teachers. If you need any more details, if you don't have the papers, you can't find something, whatever it is, just be there early. That way you just have a smooth day. And I feel like it's one of those, when you start subbing, maybe you haven't started yet, and you're like, oh, okay, like get there early, like whatever. Once you like experience not being there on time when it's a new job, like a new teacher that you've never subbed for, you will understand that. Preparedness is another one. So make sure that you have a toolkit of backup ideas and plans. So this one would be for if you really don't have any substitute teaching plans, and that is going to happen to you. There are many resources out there. I have a video and tools and resources that you can use. Excuse me, my sweatshirt's like choking me. But anyways, you could print off worksheets, coloring sheets. You know, you're in 6th grade social studies. Go on to Teachers Pay Teachers. It's a free website, and you can sign up for you have a login, and then you can type in 6th grade social studies, and all these worksheets will come up. I always pick the free option, and you can print that off, and then at the school, you could say, hey, do you mind copying this 25 times, or how many kids that you do have. That's a great option to do worksheets. Oh my gosh, now I can't think of the word searches. Oh my gosh. Okay. Do some word search. Moving on. You get the point. Just having something else for the students to do is really, really important, because 9 times out of 10, those students are going to finish in 10 to 15 minutes with whatever the teacher has. And it gets annoying, because that's when you see behaviors as a substitute teacher. And maybe you just want to do games or something, like an educational game, or 7-Up. Who remembers 7-Up? Put a thumb up emoji if you remember that from when you were in school. Just have something in your toolkit for them to do, even if it takes 15 to 20 more minutes for them to do. It shows other people that you are actually just prepared, and you're ready. You think on your feet, you're ready to go, and you're not just there to babysit. Adaptability is another one. Every single class is different. Make sure that you are ready to adapt to different subjects, different student behaviors, and different school expectations. And being a sub in general, we have to be adaptable like this. There's just things that happen that we just have to adapt to. Doesn't mean we have to like hold it in and be like, oh my gosh, you know, like all these kids are just so bad because I'm a sub. Like, no, don't take it like that. But even teachers these days, these students these days are just, I feel like, a different breed of human. And the behaviors are just so different than what it was in the past. And I think that they can get away with substitute teachers, and don't let them. You know, if you have a student who's talking, you have the power to say, stop talking. And that might not work the first time. Move their seat. Say that in your expectations. We are not talking while the teacher's talking, you know, and then have consequences for it. Just being adaptable just really shows the school, the principal, the teacher, the regular teacher in the classroom, the students. It shows everyone that, like, you are boss, right? Like, and not in a bad way. Like, you're not bossing them around like chickens, but no, like, you know that like class management is important, and you know that these students need to get their work done. And so in order to get their work done, you need to manage them a little bit, be adaptable. There's going to be behaviors, but you are ready to take that on and show these students that you are there for them and there's no time to fool around. And clear communications. Make sure you are ready to communicate to both the students and staff. And always leave clear, concise notes about what was covered, what wasn't, what issues you had, etc. So acting professional. Make sure that you set boundaries for yourself. I've talked about this in other videos, but make sure, so one of the things that I like to tell people about boundaries is pretend you have a hula hoop around you, right? So you have your hula hoop, and every human has a hula hoop, and you're walking around and you don't want to touch other people's hoop, because inside that hoop is the boundary, right? So that boundary could be something like, for the students, it could be like no talking when the teacher's talking, or one person out in the bathroom at a time, something like that. And so you're like, you have your hoop, you're walking around, and 3 people ask you, can I go to the nurse? Can I go to the bathroom? That overstepped your boundary, right? So what that means is that you just have to be clear about it. Be communicative. Communicate. My language right now is like off. Okay, swear. And it's just important to know, when you set boundaries, it doesn't mean that you're being a rude person at all. Not at all. You can be the nicest person in this entire world and have set boundaries, and it makes all of a difference, okay? You are not being rude at all. It just means that you're showing people how to respect you. Doesn't matter if it's the students, doesn't matter if it's another teacher. Just setting your boundaries just shows that, like, you want to do your job effectively, and you want to do it without other people stepping on you. And that best way is to communicate your boundaries in a way that they know how to respect you. Whew, that was a lot to get out. Okay, moving on. Respect for student diversity. So this one, what I really mean in this, and like diversity, is respecting that there's so many other, like, there's so many different types of students. Okay, so we all learn different, right? And that's amazing, right? So you may have a class and you're teaching math class. Maybe you're really good at math, but you have a student who's not getting it, right? And so you walk around and maybe you realize they are kinesthetic. They have to write out the problem to do it. Or they are visual. So you do a visual thing in a different way. That's really key to get as a substitute teacher. It's hard because you don't know these students, right? But then you may have a student who has an IEP who has autism, or you may have a kid in the class who might have Down syndrome. And that's amazing, right? And they're your students for the day. They still deserve your love and your attention. So when you are walking around and you're teaching, you might have the teacher might have had like an adapted material for that student, and that's okay. But as long as you are encouraging that student to be their best, and you are embracing that they are a student, and you're engaging that student within the classroom and acknowledging them is important. I only know that because when I was in student teaching, not trying to bash the teacher that I was with, but I went to school for health and physical education, and the teacher did not pay attention to the students with special needs. And she taught me that. And once I was on my own, I was like, oh, like, I can't treat these kids these ways. I can't treat anyone poorly based on what they look like or how they think or because they have an IEP. Like, they are a human being just like me. Like, we all want to feel loved. So like, if you're not giving love out and respect and kindness, I don't know what planet you come from. So I really when because out of college, I became a paraprofessional. So then I was on the other side of things, and I had to be a voice for that student. And wow, I didn't realize that I was treating these students poorly as not a substitute teacher, but as a student teacher. That's just an important note for you. And not everyone has the gift of being with special education kids, and that's okay. Sorry, I'm like trying not to rant here or anything, but it's just how you treat them. You don't have to be like a special education teacher to say hi to a student with a disability. No, it's just, they are a human being too. Professional interactions with staff and teachers. A positive first impression. So a lot of the times, so we're going in as a substitute teacher and you're not really seeing the teachers that you're with. And that's understandable. What I always did when I didn't know a teacher, I would come in like the next day. So like, I liked to repeat schools that made me feel good. So, excuse me. So if I didn't know the teacher, I would go in the next day or a few days and say, hey, I'm Alexa. I subbed for you on this day. I had so much fun, whatever. Did you have any questions on what I wrote? I would just introduce myself that way. A lot of the other times I really enjoyed going into the teaching lounge and meeting the teachers and stuff. And even if they were having off conversations and stuff, I was lucky enough that the teachers were nice. And they would talk to me and I would introduce myself, or I would have conversations with them. That way, like, they knew I was a kind person. Like, I, believe it or not, can be shy at times and quiet. So like, sometimes that's taken off as like being rude. So when I introduce myself, I make sure that I do that appropriately. Of course, not interrupting any conversations in the lounge room, but like just being like, hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Alexa. I'm a substitute teacher or whatever. Like, you know, or even like I've done this and it went a long way to the point that I got a job. But the first day that I was a para, I went right up to the principal and I was like, hi, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Alexa. I'm like, thank you so much for having me today. Today was my first day. And he was like, oh, like, it's so nice to meet you. Like, did you go to school for education? I was like, I did. And I told him my background and stuff. And he was like, oh my gosh. So the more he saw me, the more he was like, hi, Alexa, it's so nice to see you. And that goes a long way as well. Don't be like too friendly and like, not too friendly. You can never be too friendly, but like too talkative. Just introduce yourself and say like, have a nice day, you know. Make sure to handle criticism gracefully. So as a sub, there may be a day where your class management is off and a teacher comes in and be like, what was that, you know? And it might come off as rude, and maybe they even yelled at you. But my suggestion is just to take them, hey, they are hired by the school. You can say to them, what would you have done in that situation? Or can you give me a tip for when this happens again? Switch it. You know, it's called the growth mindset. So take what went wrong, grow from it, instead of saying like, well, they talked down on me, I'm never coming back to this school, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, like things happen. And it's how we react to it. So take criticism gracefully and grow from it. And then respect the classroom procedures. Every teacher has their own set of rules, and it's important that we do follow that. Sometimes it's hard to know what the rules are, especially if you're like in high school and stuff. It's really hard to like know. But just try your best. And that's why I think it's important to have your own expectations, because a lot of the times like they are the same. Like, for example, one of my expectations that I always gave to the students was respect me, respect your other classmates, and respect everything in this room, right? Like, you don't want computers flying. You don't want chairs flying. You don't want pencils going across the room and hitting someone in the head. No. And so if you say that, that's probably an expectation of the teacher as well. Some benefits of professionalism: building trust and a reputation, a good reputation, a positive impact on students, and personal satisfaction and growth. Guys, I really hope that this video really helped you understand what professionalism is. I know that that's like a big word, and I'm sure that we all have different professionalism thoughts in our head, and that is okay. What is your tip on professionalism as a substitute teacher? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next video.